Hello, Soul Spiralers. Welcome back to today's episode. Today, I'm very excited because I've got a beautiful friend sitting here with me in person in my new shed house. It's a bit rustic. Usually we're on Zoom, but Kalie Blavius is here with me today. And Kalie is an influential pillar in her community as a wellness and lifestyle mentor, a speaker, a rebirthing breathwork facilitator and coach, a retreat host and event holder. She is an ongoing student of Iridology and Sclerology, which we're going to get into a little bit today, a spiritual conduit of love and light, helping others on their journey to land in the body's true knowing, planting seeds of new perspectives, and a reminder to our innate self. So thank you for coming on the podcast, Kalie.
Thank you so much, Kristin, for having me here. I'm so excited to share this space with you and open up conversation and, have some fun today.
Yeah, totally. We've been here for a few hours already. Finally got to podcasting. We've been having a good day looking through some amazing raw foods and some fun iridology on my eyeballs and just expanded conversation. So I'm excited that we're stepping into sharing that with the listeners.
So excited. It's been a magical day of just exploration within ourselves and coming to this point now. So
the culmination. Let's see how it goes. So I have a question to kick it off. How do you nourish and expand your soul day to day?
That's such a beautiful question. It's such a beautiful question. I think it's also a beautiful reminder, because I think it's something that we can easily forget. You know, what is nourishing our soul and what is bringing us alive and what is part of our purpose. And so this is something that I've definitely found myself dance with throughout my life and throughout my journey. However, it is something that I do come back home to more regularly now than I have in the past. And I've noticed a massive difference in my growth and in the level of peace and joy I feel every single day. So the things that really remind me of coming back to, pure abundance and pure joy and aliveness and, that space of leading from each day. And a big part of that is the lifestyle in which I choose to live and breathe regularly now. And that has come from a journey for me from about the last 12 years of recognizing what brings my body alive, my mind alive, my soul alive, what brings all the parts of me alive that harmonize together. And I don't think that that's one particular food. I don't think that's one particular exercise or morning routine. I think it is the culmination and the grace and the ability to keep listening within as to what calls for us each day to tap into the vitality of what our body needs and what our mind needs. So for me personally, some big parts that incorporate, most of my days is mindful and conscious breath and breathing. Coming back to my breath whenever I feel a little bit overwhelmed or a little bit out of my depth. It's just coming back into a space within my own breath. It's innate within me, and it just helps to harness and rebuild that empowerment within myself and make sure that I'm not, externalizing or trying to draw my vitality from external sources. So breath has been a beautiful teacher of mine over the past number of years, and it's something that I now incorporate daily. Food for me and the way in which I nourish my body is another key component to what makes my soul sing. I feel the vibrancy within food. I feel the potency and the nutrition and the light within food. So while I'm nourishing and mindfully absorbing through food, it's also something that then leads into what brings me alive. And that is leading by example. That is really showing up with what I know my body loves and thrives off, and then following suit and being congruent to that. That's been a massive piece for me around cultivating a deeper level of peace within and an aliveness. Yeah, I think those three things have been staples for me.
Such strong pieces there, and like such pillars, I feel. I love that remembrance of what you're doing to being like congruency with yourself and that real integrity. I think we were talking about integrity earlier today, and how as we like age, it's like more about how can we be more in integrity with ourselves. And I love what you said about like not seeking the vitality from external sources, but finding that from within. That's so powerful, like, because we have that vitality within ourselves, but there is this kind of theme in like health culture, let's say, that the vitality comes from external things. And obviously there's a level of that being like what we put in our body and what we consume.
Absolutely.
But where does it actually come from originally? It comes from within ourselves. So I think that's such a potent reminder. Yeah, I really, really, I love that one. Definitely.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and that's a nice reminder for myself to re-speak that, I think, as well.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's a really important piece. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I know that we're going to like speak a little bit about health today and sort of the health fundamentals and what you see showing up in your space of helping others and perhaps in your own life. Do you feel like some of those things are within your pillars of health, or is that just for you and you feel like there's other things that are relationship as a more generic thing for the community, or let's call it the community?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that there are definitely some big pillars and fundamentals within that we can all incorporate.
Yeah.
And that we can all adopt in our own way of being. And I think whether it's for within ourselves or within, our community, I think there's always a through line or a thread that harnesses both, or that can complement both ourselves and our community, because we are a reflection of what's around us and they are a reflection of what's within us.
So true.
And so I think just keeping that, not holding on too tightly to what that is, but also remembering that we are all coexisting here.
Yeah.
And I think there's definitely some health principles and some philosophies of life that, we can share and put ideas out there for our community so that they can adopt that and perceive that in a way that's juicy for them, in a way that they can actually relate to and take a hold of, and then actually implement and choose to, utilize that concept or that pillar for themselves.
I feel like that sort of resonates in the sense of finding like inspiration so that you feel like motivated to be like attracted to that pillar of whatever you're focusing on. Because if you're just trying to like follow a regimen that maybe isn't always, we're different every day, and what's integrity for me today might be different to tomorrow.
Totally.
I'm a feminine being.
Oh yes.
There's a level of that happening because of that. We like the structure, but then it's creating that fluidity or flexibility within that, I think, is definitely.
Absolutely. That really brought me to a point just then. It's how can we, find relatability in what we see working for others. So when we witness, a foundational pillar, so say for me, it's the food that I choose to eat, and it working for me, it's like, how can I inspire someone else to find their own relatability within food or something else that would bring that vitality within themselves?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's not about me endorsing, how many papayas to eat in a day, or have your lemon, water, or, go and do some, walking, or yes, they're relevant, and it's how is it relatable to that individual person, and how can they adopt it like it's their own idea, so that they can be congruent and integral within themselves in showing up in what that's going to feel like for them.
I love that. It's like can be the expander or the activator. I definitely noticed like when I was sharing so many fruit pictures online. It's winter, so like I'm still eating fruit, but less than I was. But when I'm sharing fruit pictures online and having people respond to me being like, oh my gosh, you just inspired me to eat like papaya, or inspired me to do that, or people like, and I'm sure it's happened to you in person when they see the way that you eat or the way that you present food, because you're an amazing chef, let's say, not even just a cook, a chef. I know that you create such beauty in the kitchen, and I can't wait to see our journey unfold there together.
I'm so excited.
Watch this space.
It'll be Kalie and Kristin.
the K's in the kitchen.
With our fruit feast kitchen.
Yeah, I love it. And so I think that it's exciting to see how that expands things for people. And I mean, I don't know about you, but there are a lot of people, and I think that I am one of those people most of the time, is that we learn through people's stories and we learn through people sharing their experiences. And in hearing that, we decide what's like right for us or what isn't right for us. And sometimes you meet someone and everything that they're saying is just aligning. Like, it's so funny. Kalie and I've been like trying to hang out more and more, and then we bumped into each other at the movies on Saturday night with our boyfriends, and we both realized that we're wearing like the same colors, and they were wearing the same colors, and then we both fell down the stairs at the same time. And we're like, okay, what's happening? There's a real deep reflection or match happening, like with our vibes being attracted to each other at the moment. And that ebbs and flows with different friendships, different mentors, different people in our communities. And it's like, how can we notice when that's happening and tap into it and the energy of it to allow ourselves to grow and expand before it shifts into something else?
Absolutely. Oh gosh, that just gives me shivers remembering that, and also recognizing the beauty that is life, and whether it's universe, source, God, however we choose to perceive this higher self and this potent force that exists for us always. Everything is always happening for you and for us. And when we tap into that deeper alignment, we do witness the synchronicities and the moments and the matching in vibrations when we connect with different people. And I think that's also, you can liken that to your own interpersonal relationship with self and the journey that you're on for your own personal growth, vitality, health, wellness, kind of environment. What's vibing for you right now? When you really tap into your body and start removing some of the layers of noise that keep us distracted or disconnected from self, that lightness that comes in when we do witness, a ripe papaya on the bench, as opposed to, an old stale loaf of bread. Like, what's going to call you?
Yeah.
And I guess recognizing when we are in flow.
Yeah.
And trusting that flow, knowing that it's not just happening by chance and it's not just coincidence. There is this underlying force, this propelling knowing that is just tapping us on the shoulder, and it's our ability to want to listen, to want to ask the questions, and to acknowledge, yes, I do want to feel better in this moment. What does that feel and look like for me right now? And so what I love to help others and to plant new seeds of perspective and ideas for people as to what does that look like for you? I love to kind of give them an idea as to what it would look like to plant a new idea or a new perspective and remove the blinkers that we'd had on and held onto for so long, just to move that blinker 2 millimeters and witness a new idea come in, witness a new way of looking at what we choose to eat or how we choose to move our bodies, or, you know, what other holistic practices and principles that we're endorsing into our everyday life. And it just reminded me of a book that really shifted my perspective, actually, around, I guess, this higher force that we're talking about, this esoteric energy that exists within us and around us. And it's called Big Magic, I think, by Elizabeth Gilbert. And it's around inspiration and motivation. And when inspiration lands and new ideas land, it's like a new idea pops in, and it's our ability to either act or not act in that moment, you know, and neither is right or wrong. And we have the choice, you know, and when there's an idea that lands from a space of inspiration, if we are in full alignment, that flow to carrying out that idea can be effortless.
Yeah.
And it can move lightning quick.
Mm-hmm.
And if we aren't in alignment and that idea that we have isn't a right fit for now, it will feel heavier and it will feel more dense and it won't be as effortless to carry out. And maybe it's not for you in this time right now. And maybe the idea was never meant for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it created an opportunity to become open.
Yeah.
And to explore a new way, which then may be a catapult to something else landing in.
How do you feel like pushing your edge or like dealing with maybe challenge in the face of growth fits into that? Because I feel there's a level of us needing to challenge ourselves to get into that flow state. Like, I think that's one of the key components that they say, like flow state, for a flow state to occur. You probably know this better than me. Oh, look at this, the sky outside, so beautiful.
Oh,
I'll have to get Alex to take a picture to post for everyone to see. But how do you feel challenge or pushing your edge fits into like allowing yourself to step into the flow state of allowing those synchronicities and that effortlessness to be in effect?
That's such a great question. And I think it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely many components that could fall into that. However, we also want to make sure that we're keeping things simple as well, and coming back to simplicity and not trying to overthink what's coming up or the resistance that's being met. And a process that I love to use, because edges, I definitely have, I've definitely met many edges, and I definitely haven't been one for, you know, that wholehearted gung-ho, go for it. I've been more of the introverted, you know, scaredy cat as a young girl. And so pushing through my edges is something that I'm very well known to. And to be honest, it doesn't really get much easier. You know, there's new edges, new leaps, new pieces that we've got to cultivate courage, you know, and cultivate vulnerability and have that inner strength to go there. So I think there's a couple of pieces for me personally that I've used cultivating courage and meeting my edges. And firstly, it's actually acknowledging that they're there in the first place. Witnessing and acknowledging that it is an edge for me. And from that point forward, I either consciously choose to move through it or recognize whether it is a path I'm going down right now.
Yeah.
And that conscious choosing ultimately removes the disempowered kind of associations that they can have on you. And it gives you the empowered space to choose. And so moving with choice in an empowered state through a conscious awareness that this is an edge and I choose to move toward this edge, then accepting the outcome for whatever it is.
Yeah. No
Releasing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Releasing expectations, letting go of the outcome, surrendering to what is in that moment, and trusting, having this deeper layer of trust within yourself, knowing that you have everything within you to achieve anything you set your mind to, and this unwavering kind of esoteric universal faith that you are held and supported in everything you do anyway.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so beautiful, and I can really see the picture it paints in when we're in that state, how powerful that can be. But I think a lot of people, and this is like coming back to this fundamental piece, they're struggling so much with the fundamentals, and especially are struggling so much with their own physiology. And I always say, if your physiology is not like working very well for you, everything else kind of doesn't feel very easy at all.
Totally.
Does it?
Absolutely.
And so that might be putting in like you're meeting this resistance, but it's like, actually that's a not right now thing, because I need to look after my physiology and the fundamentals more, so that gets to a better state, so then I can play in that realm of of the joy and the synchronicity of the power of that, and allow myself to move through the resistance.
It's beautiful, isn't it? And again, it's an acknowledgement. It's acknowledgement of where you're at, and a surrendering that you are enough in any given moment.
Totally.
You know, you are absolutely enough in any given moment. And while we are striving beings, while we are here for growth and expansion, you know, there is also so much growth and lessons and like juiciness within the moments that we are in contraction as well. You know, when we are in moments of nourishing ourselves and rebuilding our fundamentals or our foundational pillars within where we're at in this given moment, and knowing that there's no right or wrong within that.
Totally. And having that as like the simplicity piece to come back to is so powerful. I find that it's like when I'm not feeling like my best, I'm like, hold on, am I doing my like fundamentals? It's like, maybe I haven't been.
That's it. It's like, for me, my check-in is like, did I have my, 500 mils to 1 liter of water this morning upon waking, so that my brain has the best chance of, functioning, and my cells are hydrated, and and I've gone for a walk to help my lymphatic system and move some blocked energy through my body. Like, there are some fundamentals that I now know innately within myself what gears me for a successful day, and what helps my body to tap into flow state, to tap into peak state. Yeah.
I love that. Maybe you can talk us through like the different fundamentals, like obviously those two pieces, like the hydration and the moving the lymph is like so important, and it's such a good reminder. They're two such simple things and they're two such simple things that we forget.
Oh gosh, yes. And I had a saying, a mentor once told me many, many years ago, because I was a go-getter. Even though I was introverted, I had big, big dreams, and I was not here for playing small stuff.
Leo energy.
I was ready to just do whatever it took. And I had this unwavering belief that anything was possible. And, I liked big leaps. And I think the one thing that my mentor really helped me, and what I'm finding so beneficial for me right now in my life, is start small, stay focused to grow strong,
and only add it bit by bit.
Exactly. The foundations, create strong foundations in who you are, in what you do, in the relationships that you have with yourself, with those around you, and those foundations, I like to articulate them like, I've always got this image of like this high rise in China for whatever reason. But
have you been to China?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. It'd be weird if you haven't.
But I've got this visual image in my head of what a not so good foundation may look like.
Yeah.
And so there's this high rise in China where they put this building up so quickly. The foundations weren't set into the ground very strongly, and there was already cracks forming, shortly after it was built. And so it didn't take long for the wear and tear, the weather conditions and everything else like that, because there was already hairline fractures in the foundation and the time wasn't spent on it. You know, the engineering wasn't done within this building to really cultivate its strength in the beginning. You know, it soon toppled.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just a quick analogy of kind of where I'm going with this. But cultivating our foundations, I think, are so fundamental. And it's something that we overlook so quickly. We're in a fast-paced world. We need fast-paced action. We need results yesterday. You know, it's like, what's the next best food that's going to help me, you know,
shortcut the
outcome. Yeah. And so what we need to realize and come back to is these fundamentals and these basics and what they are. And so for me, water in the morning is a number one priority. When I wake up, I make sure before going to bed, I've already got that 500 mils to a liter of water beside my bed. So it's a no-brainer for me. Walking for my lymphatic system, get the body moving, get the chi energy moving through that body, just helps to make sure that I'm going into the day fresh without any of the stagnant energy left over from the day before. Often I will have, you know, some lemon water to alkalize my body and to just, you know, detox any of the acidity that happens when you sleep at night. They're kind of some of the health foundations, the health principles. And then there's other clearing techniques. There's purification pieces. It's like, do you need a shower in the morning for water purification to wash away any stagnant energy? Does that water cleanse your aura to make you feel fresh and ready for the day? Do you put on essential oils? You know, do you go out in nature or ground your feet on the grass? Is there any activating tools that you can do as well to, you know, build in that vitality for the day, or set some intentions? Is there a ritual that you do? Is it a drop in with your lover or your family or someone that's close by that you're going to be journeying with that day? So it's like asking yourself, what do you feel will help clear your channel, give yourself the best, I guess, get yourself in the best physiology, like you were saying, and physiology, you know, being, you know, the not just mindset, but your body. How does your body feel? Like, what state are you in? You know, state is a body and a mind coherence. So changing your physiology should be number one in the morning. Yeah. If it does need shifting, so that you've got the best possible chance to move through your day with grace, with love, with empowerment, you know, with that essence and that ability to achieve the intention that you set.
I love it. It's really powerful. Really sounds like setting up your day for freshness and for like a fresh opportunity of possibility and all those sorts of things. If someone was really time poor, would you just suggest like that water and then some sort of movement to like move the lymph? And just obviously most people have a shower. I don't know. Not everyone has a shower in the morning. Some people have a shower in nighttime. But like, again, it's just even splashing the water on your face and just imagining that going over your field sounds like the quicker ways to do that for someone that's really time poor. Yeah. Or maybe it's also like, how much time are you worth?
And that's it. And that's a conversation you've got to have with yourself, you know, and that's a conversation that I think we've all got to remind ourselves of at times. We are worth investing. You know, we're worth investing the time in ourselves.
Yeah.
And we are our greatest catalyst to what we're here to achieve. And it's only us that can do the work. It's only us that can get us where we want to go. And, you know, life does take its course and life does require things of us as well. So I'm very much of the approach, like, what's innate for you within, you know, and what does it look like for you tap in and understand what's innate for you within. Because a lot of the time it does require a few layers to be removed to understand what's your get up and go, what's going to motivate you, what's going to inspire you, what's going to create that inspired action to get up and drink your water or move your body, or what just feels good for you. Find that, start there, and then keep asking the questions. Keep asking the questions as to, okay, I've established this foundation. I'm doing this regularly. I can see that it's helping and that it's feeling really good in my body. And I want to feel better now. And I want to grow more. It's like, where do you start that you feel like you can build that integrity within yourself? You can build that trust that you will do that each day if that's what you've told yourself that you will do. And yeah, keep building on that. Keep being the student. Yeah.
Do you feel like setting like maybe intention for yourself and following through on those things cultivates this trust with ourselves, like and trust with our own systems? And perhaps maybe when we don't stick to those things, we fall out of trust with ourselves, and it makes it harder to be like, yeah, I'm choosing what's right for me. And then all of a sudden we get impacted by other people's opinions or thoughts, or we're looking externally for that vitality. So do you feel that part of this is like setting your own small, whatever intentions it is, and then sticking to that, what's right for you, not based on everyone else?
Yeah, that's a really great topic, I think. And I think it's a really important one to discuss. And I think I was kind of touching on it, but I wasn't direct. So I'm glad you brought this back. Thank you. Because I think one thing I've learned, and I can speak from, my own personal perspective here, is rebuilding the trust with yourself is vitally important. And the way in which I've learned to rebuild that trust within myself is by little wins. Little daily wins. Little moments where you can celebrate yourself. You can celebrate that moment of like, oh, I set that intention this morning and it came to fruition. I made that happen. And even by incorporating, hydrating in the morning, you do that for a week and you're like, wow, I actually feel so much clearer in my mind. That's a win there. Instead of looking for the big wins, it's like, how can we adopt and incorporate these little wins more often to cultivate that integrity, to cultivate that trust within, to empower yourself and make yourself feel so much better about you and the choices that you're making.
I love it. It's so I always say I love it. Now everyone's going to notice that. But I feel that when you are cultivating that, like through these little wins, it actually allows you to tap into your intuition more and trust in your instincts. It all flows into like a greater purpose really anyway, all these little wins. And I find a lot of people ask you like, or ask me, how do I like trust my intuition more, or how do I step into that and like allow the trust of the universe or whatever to happen? And it does start from that little space of those little wins. I really love that that thought. Definitely. That's really cool. Is there any other fundamentals that you would be suggesting to people based on what you see in your sessions?
Yeah, I think personally I could go on about fundamentals all day.
Which is okay. Hugs, maybe.
Building foundations, building that strong foundation within, and that also then, grows out to your environment around you. We were speaking to environment just before and how important environment can be. For me, energetics and space medicine is something that I need to honor within me. I need to create a space within my working capacity, or if my creative space, I really need to cultivate that space medicine for me to feel safe and feel like I've got that flow and spaciousness to welcome in my intentions and what I'm looking to cultivate. And so, you know, whether it's living with other people, like a lot of us live with other housemates and other energies, and how do we navigate other energies? And, you know, there's different ways to look at that. And it's something that I think all of us are forever, I guess, maneuvering through and learning deeper about ourselves. And on that, I think our openness to continue learning more about us should almost be number one. Because the more that we can learn about us, the more that we know what activates us, but also what creates resistance for us. And when we can bring up that resistance or recognize, you know, those elements, it gives us new perspectives. It gives us a new question to ask, and ask whether that is something that we should be exploring, you know, whether it's just resistance because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And if it is, do we choose to, you know, meet that edge?
Yeah.
And cultivate that courage. Or is it something that just isn't a right fit for us right now? And I think discernment comes in that. So a big foundational pillar for me is it's whether it's a foundational pillar or it's kind of like a value of mine that,
or a navigational tool almost.
Yeah, I think discernment and our ability to discern in each moment allows us and gives us opportunity to not necessarily just make things right or wrong, but find the dance within that. And that flow and that ability to be open, remain open.
Yeah.
You know, ask, what does this want to show me right now?
Yeah.
That then gives us this openness. And I think that's where I'm getting to with mindset, bringing in and welcoming mindset around as a foundational, fundamental pillar. It's like, where are our thoughts? Where's our mind going? What are we focusing on? What are we creating into our current reality? And if that's not where we want it to be, what does it look like to start shifting that? And again, starting small with that, making incremental changes. Are there a few words in your vocabulary that actually make you feel heavier or more dense when you say them? Just becoming conscious of the words that you're speaking, and then removing the ones that don't feel like they're in alignment or they're a right fit for you. That's huge. That has like helped shift the way that I perceive my own self, perceive the world, and also have this beautiful positive outlook on life, knowing that and feeling and trusting that life is working for me.
What are some of the words that you have removed from your vocabulary? I can think of some myself that I would like to remove.
Oh, wow. Oh, a good one. Okay. So there was I used to say, I can't wait to see you. And it's genuine. I can't wait to see someone. I'm excited. You know, I want to be in that moment where I'm with that person. Right.
Yeah.
But that's the kicker. In that moment, when you say, I can't wait to see you, it's like you want to be in that moment already. Therefore, you're taking yourself out of the present time and moment. And so by removing can't wait and instead saying, I'm really looking forward to, it allows me to stay present to where I am right now, feel the excitement inside of what it would feel like when I am with that person, but remain present in the now. I felt a lot of I think I was a lot of projecting, wanting to be somewhere else, you know, not that I was necessarily, I'll be happy when, but there was definitely elements that were coming into my life through my languaging that suggested I'll be happy when.
Yeah. Even the excitement around, I can't wait. It almost is anxiety feeling when you like really tap into the energy of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I get to know you more and more, I understand that this presence is a really key mindset fundamental for you. And how have you found is the easiest way to cultivate that when you're with people or with yourself, perhaps?
I think, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel.
That's another one too. We've got to remove just a little bit.
Yes, definitely. It's like, what do we feel? Not what we think in that moment.
What do we want or desire rather than I should or could. Could is probably better than should. Like I could do that. Not I should do that.
Yes.
Should creates this like right or wrong feeling, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's like shooting all over yourself, really.
Yeah. I think anything that taps into that energy of like that's right or wrong is one for me. Or trying to be perfect. Yes. So even the word perfect, because nothing is perfect, because all you have is right now. And the only thing that's perfect is this present moment. So we can't strive for that. It doesn't actually make sense.
Exactly. Yeah. That's medicine to my ears.
Yeah. Back to the presence.
Back to the presence. And yeah, presence is a really important value of mine. And I find so much joy and love and connectedness within presence. And it's also something that I was so easily trying to run away from in the past as well, you know? And so reminding myself to come back to this present moment and feeling what it feels like to be super present with you right now, that wholesome feeling, it's nourished, it's whole, you know, it's contained. I don't feel like there's much else in life that's more beautiful
or real
than right here, being present with you, being present in the moments that I bring myself back into gratitude. I think that's where we can truly feel gratitude if it's felt in the presence, in present moment. Gratification outside of the present moment, I feel like is just a wishing or a longing. Sorry, I don't even know what the question was.
I was asking about like what tools you use to bring yourself into present. So like one that I'm thinking of is like a tactic to help with anxiety as well, which is when you're in a space, if you have a tendency to like be thinking ahead or like overthinking of what's going to happen next, can you notice 5 things and name them like in your environment, like just as a really simple thing? Like there's an orange salt lamp there. I see a hat on the shelf, you know, and it helps me remember things better. You know, when people like struggle with their memory, I think that sometimes, not everyone, like let's not put a blanket over the thing, but taking in your environment a lot more brings presence and actually helps you remember the moments more.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. I'm going to take that one on board. Thank you. I think for me, my tools to coming back to the presence is breath again, coming back into my body first, because if I don't feel like I'm present, I feel like I've left my body. Yeah. You know, and it can probably feel a bit woo-woo saying that, right? But we welcome woo-woo.
I mean, if you're in your thoughts, like there's a part of you that has left because your subconscious is running the show. Yeah. If you're thinking, your conscious mind is thinking. So therefore, who's running your body? It's like when you're driving in a car, like Bruce Lipton says, if you're driving in a car and I'm having a conversation with you, who's driving the car?
That's right.
The subconscious is driving the car. And that's just like life, isn't it? If I'm having a conversation with you now, even me doing whatever I'm doing with my body, that's my subconscious actually. So, and that's what happens when I think people get into like problems in relationship, is because they start thinking or distracting, that their subconscious kicks in and they don't even realize how their subconscious behaves. Like we all have our own subconscious traits that maybe aren't so beautiful.
Oh, really? I definitely think we all have tendencies of that for sure. And coming back into the body, breath, reconnecting with, you know, our heart, reconnecting with, maybe it's a part of the body that brings you alive, that brings you alive. Like my solar plexus gets really activated when I'm reconnected and back in that fire and back in that expression and sharing and remembering that. For me personally, it is removing the layers of protection as well. Like when I go in my head, it's like, oh, I'm then questioning myself. I'm comparing myself. I'm starting to, get into that perfectionist mindset again. So to remove that, it's like tapping back into your empowered state, into that fire within, for me personally, within my solar plexus, and reminding that we're here for something so much bigger than ourselves. But we get to be witness of that in each of those moments as well. And for me, it's about being that channel. It's like, how do I get out of my own ego? How do I get out of my own fear to continue returning home so that I can be of service, so that I can continuously keep showing up and offering not only to myself, but those around me. And that brings me back into presence and back into why I'm here and what this is all about, what life's all about.
So powerful. And I feel that we have some really amazing tools that we can draw on in the sense of bringing awareness. I think that's what you were speaking about earlier, or whether that was earlier today. So we did, Kalie did my iridology and a bit of my sclerology today, which is, maybe you can tell us what what that is. Like if anyone had no idea, how would you describe that?
Yeah, beautiful. So there's a concept of studying the eyes. We've got our iris, and then we've also got the white parts of our eyes. So the iris part is iridology, the study of the iris, and the white parts of the eyes are the sclera, so sclerology. And in combination, both of these parts of our eyes actually are such a guide to what's happening on the internal parts of our body. They say that eyes are the window to the soul. There is an element of truth to that. The sclera, they actually say, is on a metaphysical kind of level, is basically the way that we're perceiving life. What's our lens in through which we are looking at? Where are our limiting beliefs? What's showing up in our day-to-day life? Where are we feeling ailments? What's coming up for us? And more often than not, we actually can witness that in the sclera, in the whites of the eyes, through different organs that are under pressure or under stress. There's different lines you might see when you look in the bathroom in the mirror, and, one morning you might wake up and there are going to be some stress lines in there if you didn't get enough sleep, that kind of thing. But beyond that layer, beyond just that layer of a bit of overtiredness, there are some other parts that are showing up that are happening more of that internal part of the body. For example, a big one that shows up in our world today, and the fast pace that we live in, and the way in which we're geared, is our endocrine system and our thyroid. More and more people that, I come across are having, thyroid challenges. And that's showing up in their sclera, in their whites of their eyes. There's congestion, there's toxicity, there's, things showing up there where I can witness and I can share. I'm like, have you been, having any thyroid challenges? Are you feeling your endocrine system is kind of under stress, under pressure at the moment? And that could be anything from anxiety, anything from, even autoimmune diseases and that kind of thing, but more around tiredness and adrenal fatigue and, things that are limiting us and putting this barrier to entry for us to feel alive and vital. So, and then there's other parts within the sclera that show our digestive system. I think gut health is the topic of the decade at the moment. It feels like, whether it's gluten intolerance, whether it's, IBS, whether it's just simple as constipation and not being able to go regularly. The gut situation has become quite extreme in a lot of people in our communities right now. And it shows up. It shows up when we look at the eyes and we study the whites of the eyes. I can see the congestion that is happening in their large intestine. I can see the congestion or the fatty liver, the visceral fat in their stomach. And this is just by taking photos of the eyes and witnessing which organ is under stress. And then we work at ways as to how to bring awareness to this in the first place, shine light on it, acknowledge that there is something going on there, and then bring in some protocols, some practices, some tools, some things available specific to that person that they feel they can achieve. The small wins, remember? We want to make sure that that person doesn't feel overwhelmed. It's not about labeling all the things that might be under pressure in the body. Our body is an incredible, incredible vessel that is forever living for us. And it is thriving in its own environment. And we can support it also. Its core function is to live. It will do everything it can to live. And how can we support it? How can we witness where it needs a little hand up? So the sclera, they say, is the way in which we read life, the perception of life. There can be some emotional factors, some emotional clearings that can come from that to relieve pressure, some anger, frustrations or grief.
Grief was a big one that came up for me. I mean, it makes sense after what I've experienced this year. But and the grief, it's really beautiful that we can kind of speak a similar language in it, because obviously it sounds like most of the systems and the way that you look at things, I mean, there is continuity between many different modalities, but looking at pressure or stress in the lungs would generally relate to that grief. Or so my endocrine system and nervous system was inflamed as well, or what do you call it, scratchy in the way that it looks.
And some scratchiness around, I guess, the sclera and the iris, which then also indicates the lymphatic system. That was a big one for me too. The lymphatic system needing some more support. Just needing a little bit extra love each day.
Totally.
And it honestly doesn't take long. It doesn't take
getting
long.
For those walks that I haven't been doing. But so I just want to clarify for anyone listening. So the sclera, you said, is this kind of current day.
Yeah. So the sclera is that indicator of recent times. So and saying that in recent times, nothing's yet set in stone. Even if it's kind of happened to some degree, we're still having new perspective shifts around it, or ways of identifying what may have happened in our body or in our life. So the sclera is really the representation of the way in which we're viewing things over the last couple of years, and that it's not yet truth. We don't have to define ourselves in whether there is some congestion in our digestive system. And
you can see that where healing has occurred in those places too, which you were pointing out to me in some of the different parts of my eye, which is really interesting, especially because obviously most people know I've been on this big health journey, and to see, it's interesting to see the highlighted areas of maybe we could give a bit more nurturing to, and the areas it's this is actually healing at the moment. So mine was the respiratory system, the lungs, which is kind of fits in with that as well, the endocrine system,
and the lymphatic,
and the lymphatic. That's the one I keep forgetting. Well, I obviously really need that one. And there was some little bit of stuff going on in my colon as well.
So the colon that was coming up, the colon indicators, there was a lot of healing within that as well.
That's what you were saying.
The lines were faded. It's it's not under as much pressure or as much stress anymore. And it takes time everything takes time, to shift, and I believe healing can be quite instantaneous. And I think that the time takes to undo the writings of what we've made so in the past. So
how long does it take to rub out the pencil?
And I think that determines on how quickly we're prepared to release the past.
Totally. Yeah. Which is the colon.
Yeah.
Letting go.
Exactly. It's all about the letting go. It's like, sorry about my pun, but like, what shit are we holding on to?
Literally. No, we love poo puns.
Oh, good. I will talk poo puns all day long. But that's it, like the evacuation, the letting go, the holding on, holding on to the shit that doesn't serve us.
Yeah.
And that's the other component to sclerology and iridology. It's like, you get to witness what might be going on internally with your internal organs and on a physical level. But there's so many other factors that play into that. There's emotional pieces that we might be holding on to. It might be showing up. I think the pancreas was a piece that was coming up.
That was kind of sneakily like, hey, I'm here in all different areas.
It did. It was just popping its head up, not, with anything too, no red flags or anything like that, but it was just popping up. And the pancreas is like, what's our sweetness to life? How are we perceiving life? Is there some self-loathing or something that's still going on? And in kind of more an emotional aspect of that, how can we sweeten life up? What does that look like? And by doing that, by nourishing the way in which we perceive life and its sweetness and its flow and its love and its joy, that will then support the pancreas on a physical level in the body.
Totally.
And vice versa. Go and eat some more sweet potatoes. Pancreas loves sweet potatoes. And, you might actually feel
I did a lot of sweet potato in the last year. I'm like, well, since October, like I was like sweet potato crazy there for a minute because it was just what I needed.
Yeah.
But my palms started to like really be too rich with beta carotene, and people were asking me like, oh, have you been like dyeing things with turmeric, or have you had fake tan on? And I was like, no, I've just been eating so much sweet potato. So you can tell I haven't been as crazy with it at the moment. But it's a good reminder. And it's interesting. It's, we spoke about how like the different psychology of the pancreas, or the different emotional aspects of it. Parts of those had played out in different points in my life. And I was like exploring with Kalie. I was like, we need to look into the planets and see how this fits in with astrology. Because I just had Amber on the last episode and we were talking about Saturn returns and how different threads or themes come through at each quarter of the Saturn. If you haven't listened to it, guys, you need to go back and listen to it. It's so epic.
Definitely. It sounds like I'm definitely going to go listen to that one. I've just been through my Saturn return.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, me too. And so it'd be interesting if those points, like, I don't know, related into that. Who knows? I could just be linking totally unrelated things. But that excites me.
And everything's connected all at the same time.
Totally.
So
it all is in some way. And maybe that's my truth, and that's okay. And so you also were looking, like, and most people talk about the study of the eyes in terms of iridology. And my understanding from what you said to me earlier is it's kind of like painting even a bigger picture. It's like a bigger lens, like we zoom out even further and look at it in not just from your own lifespan, but from like your parents or and lineage lifespan. Would that be an accurate way to look at it?
Yeah, there's definitely elements of that. So within iridology, the study of the iris, that's where we do find more concrete truths at times. That's where the eyes will show up something that has actually happened within the body in the past. So for example, the way that the study of iridology even became known and was actually explored was, I can't remember the founder's name, but as a 10-year-old boy, he caught an owl. And
That's not where I thought this story was heading. Yes, I'm very intrigued.
He caught this owl in the woods, and he wanted to love it and play with this owl. Like, he wasn't to harm the owl at all, but in the doing of like capturing the owl, it actually broke its leg.
Oh.
And so in that moment of him recognizing that the leg was broken, he was obviously in a bit of shock because he didn't want to, it wasn't his intention. But as he was looking into the owl's eyes, he actually saw a black line start to appear in the iris of the owl's eye.
Wow.
And that thought and that memory never really left him. And as he, ventured into adulthood, he actually ended up studying the eyes and went on this big path and realized that the iris itself represents all the different organs within the internal body.
Yeah.
And so if you have a broken bone, more often than not, sometimes we actually do, that can show up in the iris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's also genetic weaknesses. So genetic weaknesses from our lineages, from our parents, from their parents, some ancestors, on where there might be predispositions within the body that might be susceptible to, things happening within the body. Now, I'm a really big believer that genetics does not dictate our future. It does not mean that we will get what our parents or our ancestors got. And I'm very mindful around speaking to this and ensuring that we aren't concluding that just because, my grandma had bowel cancer, that's going to, give me a high chance of bowel cancer.
Mm-hmm.
The way I love to look at it is that genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
In any given moment, we've still got the opportunity to support our body.
Yeah.
There might be weaknesses within genes and within areas of our body. And when we know that, we can support it even more.
Mm.
We can reverse. The liver can literally renew itself within 90 days.
Yeah.
Within 7 years, our whole body has every new bit of cell tissue, like we are new humans every 7 years. So within that information, we know we've got the ability to heal. We know that we've got the ability to reverse disease and, help heal and support the weaknesses that might be showing up right now so that it doesn't lead to detrimental effects.
I love that.
And that's why I think this study of recognizing what's going on internally in a non-invasive way through looking at the irises and the sclera is just phenomenal. It blows my mind every moment of witnessing this and having the opportunity to work with people and giving them, just an opportunity for themselves to empower themselves.
Yeah.
To heal themselves, to be their own doctor within, to recognize and start understanding the subtleties of what's going on within them so that they can give themselves the best possible chance to heal, to grow, to nourish for longevity, for vitality, and so that they can feel better and better, as they get older and older. I think that's an absolute possibility and it should be, a given. It's so great. It's such a fascinating way to look at things, and it's this whole aspect of, like, even in the ear, like in reflexology in the ears or the hands or the feet, like the whole body can be like mapped out in a sense, and it's the same thing with that in our eyes. Imagine if there's other places, like what if our nipples are like another map? Totally. I wouldn't be surprised, really. Because we're so different, but we're still the same.
And such an amazing creation of the way that our body has been in creation with nature and how things have they've all been created in this such perfect, let's use that in that term, in a perfect way. Like, how amazing that we have opposable thumbs. It's like such a random thing, really, if you think about it, compared to other mammals. Like, so it's so interesting, really interesting to explore. And I love that the iridology really gives that snapshot and that opportunity to create empowerment in not choosing the same thing that maybe your parents had chosen based off their lifestyle choices or whatever it is. And it's interesting, like when you really look at the lens of like, okay, this is like an issue. How am I living the same as my parent that had that same issue? Oh, actually, there are links there because we all live in some way, in some shape or form, the same as our parents, whether that's our character or our lifestyle choices or our behavior, the way that we respond to people around us. So it's definitely, it's an awareness piece, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's shining light. Where else can we shine light? And, you know, in what other areas can we support, you know, our highest potential?
Totally.
Yeah.
I have some fun questions for you, Kalie.
Oh, okay.
Let me find them. Okay. What is your sun, moon, and rising signs, if you know them?
So my sun is Leo.
Yes.
My moon is Capricorn.
Yeah, Capricorn moons unite.
And my rising is Libra.
Libra, yeah. No, I think I said that to you last week. I really see the Libra.
Mm.
Do you know your human design?
Yes.
What's your human design?
I am a projector.
Me too.
I'm not surprised.
Everyone on the podcast is like, yes, Kristin, we know you're a projector. Do you know what number you are?
I am a 4-1.
Oh, I'm a 4-6. Oh, we do have more similarities. I'm a 4-1. I never heard that. What's your favorite fruit?
Oh, that is a hard question. And I think it depends on which country I am in at the time.
If you could be in like any place and have like your whatever was your most favorite fruit.
My most favorite exotic fruit is in Bali, and it is a mangosteen.
Ah, mangosteen, yum. So good.
Just so sweet and juicy and
delicate.
Yeah. And it's like almost like a ritual just getting into the fruit.
Totally.
Yeah.
They're so funky, aren't they? This called the queen of fruit. Did you know that?
No way.
It's supposed to, so the durians are called the king of fruit, and the
Yeah.
mangosteens are called the queen of fruit, and they like fruit and seed in tandem with each other or something.
Wow, I did not know that, and I love it.
If you could return to a moment in your life and re-experience it again, what would you return to witness?
I've had so many beautiful moments in my life. I'm so grateful. I've had some epic experiences. Oh, I reckon. There is a moment in my life that I do reflect on, and I feel it's also been a catalyst in my life. And it was when I was a competitive equestrian horse rider.
Yes. I was wondering if the horse thing was going to come up as you were saying that. I was like, we haven't talked about horses.
No, we haven't. That was definitely, my old life very much. And there was this one moment where I would have been around 15 years old, and my horse at the time I'd had since I was 11, and I've still got her now. And she was this pocket rocket. I think we were vibing with this fire sign, to be honest, because she was a pocket rocket, and she was a bit crazy.
Like you.
Oh yes, she did not back down from a fight or from. And she's about 14.1 hands in horse height, which is about 155 centimeters high. How you measure a horse. And I was doing the final round of a jump off for a show jumping event, and the course was 1.2 meters. So it was quite high for this little pony and me to be banging around, really. But the adrenaline I felt, but also the connectedness I felt in that moment, to be one with her in partnership. The trust that we had with each other was unwavering. For her trust in me to put her in that situation in the first place, and for me to trust her that her heart of gold was so strong. And I just remember going around this show jump course and making every jump. And when I went through the finish line, I had tears in my eyes at just, not that I finished it, not that I did a clear round, but the pure tenacity and the pure go that this horse had, and the heart of gold that she actually shared with me. The courage that she had and the courage that we had to go on together. I just wrapped my arms around her and had tears in my eyes. And we just went back to my horse float, and I just was crying uncontrollably. And my mum came over. She's like, "What's wrong? You did amazing." I'm like, "I know, I'm just so proud of her. I'm just so proud of Lyric and us doing that together." And I think that feeling inside of me then was just a moment that I recall on when I need that courage, and that will to take a leap of faith and make something happen and do it with tenacity. And yeah, thank you for
that's a
helping me
story.
reminisce that.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. It's such a beautiful, private and special moment. So thank you for sharing and allowing me to and us to be witness. If you had to choose between the forest and the ocean?
Oh, I'm definitely a forest girl.
Yeah, we went for a walk in the forest earlier. It was nice. I was like storming around quickly there. We've got things to do today. Yes. Do you have a plant or a flower that you work with the most?
Probably not in the physical sense. I have a lot of plants in my room. I have a lot of plants in my home. I love plants, especially for oxygenating the air as well, like peace lilies and ivies, and mother-in-law's tongues are incredible for health properties and purifying the air, I guess. But if it's something that I'm working with, the 4-leaf clover is something that calls me in, and that just is a bit of a representation of like how I sign off with things, and it just calls me in every now and then. So it's not something I physically work with, but it's something that if I was to choose an emoji, it's the 4-leaf clover.
The energy of it.
Yeah.
I love it. Very special kind of answer. What do you have a favorite crystal?
Oh, yes, I do.
What is it?
Well, I've got many, but it's interesting because I actually put 2 crystals in my tights that I'm wearing today. Oh. And it's so interesting, but I have not worn a crystal on myself for probably a couple of years.
That's so funny.
And
I've recently just started carrying crystals on me again.
Today, I walked past, because I played with some crystals yesterday. I walked past, I was like, "Oh, that old chestnut, you were my favorite." And it's apatite.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's
such a
blue
color.
crystal. Yeah. Blue crystal. And to be honest, it's been a catalyst and a real opening for me for communication. I know I've spoken a lot today. It's taken me a lot to get to this point of speaking. And apatite has been the crystal that's really helped open that throat chakra up and that channel of communication, and having the courage to continue speaking, even if I don't have the right words to say, just trusting that they will land the way that they're meant to.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. If you're an animal, what would you be?
A horse.
We could have guessed.
Definitely a horse.
And is there any last thoughts or summations that you want to leave the listeners with?
Firstly, I just want to share my gratitude, and I'm so humbled. I'm so humbled to be here with you today. Thank you for asking me to be in conversation and sharing this space. It's an honor. It's an honor just to be with a sister and converse and speak to our community and share, insights, and reflections. And I think through story has a beautiful way of it being received in a relatable way. And, I truly hope that even if there was just one seed, one idea, one new perspective that was taken from, our chat today. One little thing, one small step.
Small win.
I really encourage you to just be with that and allow that to just allow it to be an opening.
Yeah.
See it like a flower that's, about to blossom. Whatever new perspective, new idea that's landed today that resonates, that feels good for you. I invite you to explore that and see where it takes you, and know that there are no coincidences, that everything is working in divine timing and in synchronicity for your highest good. So just trust the innateness that is within you. You have the answers that you are looking for. You are enough, and you have everything within you to create the ideal current reality that you're looking for. And yeah, just really live the lifestyle you wish you had now.
Yeah. That's a potent little piece to finish with. Just live it as you wish it was now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just live the lifestyle you wish you had now.
And if people want to work with you or get in touch, is there something specific you're offering at the moment, or is it just sort of a reach out and see what lands, and what's the best way to get in touch with you or connect?
Yeah. So I am definitely working on offerings. I do work with people one-on-one already, and that has just been trusting in when they've landed and how they've come to be. I am a big believer of that. I don't do a lot of promotional things. I do, have Facebook and Instagram, so you can definitely reach out via there. I do one-on-ones with the wellness and lifestyle coaching and mentoring, where we'll do the Iridology, Sclerology reading, and then we'll also look at a roadmap for you, a lifestyle plan, and talk to the things that are easily accessible for you to get started straight away, make the small wins, build that trust within, and expand and set some intentions on where you want to go. And yeah, and then if there's anything else that comes from that, I'm a really big believer in trusting whatever lands. So that might take us on a business venture together. That might take us down, specific healing routes. And so on Instagram, my handle is b_infinite_daily. And on Facebook, it's just my name, Kalie Blavius.
I'll put all of that in the notes for everyone to see. It sounds like if you're feeling the call or the draw, to just reach out and see what lands.
Yeah, and I do have one other thing, like I do facilitate one-on-one and small group rebirthing breathwork journeys as well. So that's something that can be encompassed in the lifestyle mentoring as well. And we do have...
You have events here and there as well, don't you? On the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, we've got an event coming up in September where it's a personal development, breath and sound journey, half-day immersion with my beautiful partner, and a rebirthing breathwork facilitator training in November later here on the Sunshine Coast as well, which is really exciting.
I didn't know about that. That's very exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your voice and sharing your wisdom. It's been such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. You are a light in this world. I'm so grateful to be on this path with you, and just really blessed to have your friendship and share this time with you. So thank you.
You're welcome.